Alright, also look, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about UFC Vegas 98 showdown between Brandon Raw Dog Royval versus Tatsuro Taira, and this fight lived up to all the hype, with Brandon Royval coming up on top with the split decision victory. But this fight was an absolute war from start to finish, and with that being said, let's get right into the breakdown. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you can help me reach 1,500 subscribers by May. I'll deeply appreciate you. And make sure you join the official UFC Discord, link in the description. Alright, so look, in round one of this fight, we had Brandon Royval on a different level when it came to the striking department, and right away from the start, it was clear as day that Tatsuro Taira just wasn't able to match Royval's pace or his technique on the feet. Brandon Royval was landing the better shots, he was controlling the distance, and Tatsuro Taira just couldn't keep up with him in the striking exchanges, and on the feet, it just wasn't close whatsoever. And you know, looking forward, Tatsuro really needs to make some serious improvements in the striking department if he wants to compete at the highest level or continue to compete at the highest level. And you know, he's super young, he's got plenty of time in the UFC, but you know, in this fight with Royval, it was clear as day that he was the far superior striker in the first round. And as for round two, things kind of shifted a little teeny weeny bit, with Tatsuro doing what he does best, and he took Royval down. And when Tatsuro gets you on the ground, he is a literal boa constrictor, and you just can't get him off you. He was controlling Royval on the ground for most of the round, and you know, Tatsuro was kind of close to securing a few submission attempts, but Royval defended them very well, and even though he wasn't able to finish, it did show that Tatsuro could hang with the best of the best when it came to the grappling. And you know, he's super relentless when he gets on top position, and this round really highlighted his strength in that area. Now for the third round, this is where Brandon Royval absolutely turned up the motherfucking heat, because he put the beats on Tatsuro Taira. He was landing massive shots on the ground, and there were some moments within that round where it looked like it could have been stopped, but Royval just kept applying serious damage, and Tatsuro was taking so much punishment. However, there's something that I've got to note about Tatsuro that was revealed within this round. He's got some serious heart and some serious toughness. He's an absolute warrior, dog. Tatsuro showed that he's got zero quit in him, even though he was getting pummeled. And despite getting battered, he just kept pushing forward. And, you know, even at the last minute of the round, he somehow ended up on Royval's back. And, you know, to go nearly from being finished to gaining a dominant position is kind of a testament to his, you know, resilience and his toughness and his heart throughout this fight with Brandon Royval. You know, you just kind of gotta love to see the amount of grit and heart and determination in this young prospect. And this round really showed that Tatsuro Taira isn't just skilled, he's got the mentality of a future champion. For sure. And now, as for the fourth round, Tatsuro did what he needed to do again, and that was to take Royval to the ground. And he spent the majority of that round controlling him from his back. And, you know, he didn't allow Royval much room to work. And while Royval was trying his hardest in order to defend and escape, Tatsuro just kept control. And, you know, it wasn't the most action-packed round, but it showed that, you know, Tatsuro has the ability in order to manage a fight once he gets his grappling going again, you know? He did a really good job on top control, continuing to kind of frustrate Royval and, you know, making this fight go into the fifth round. And the fifth round is where it all came down to, and Tatsuro needed another takedown in order to secure this win, but Royval stuffed all of his takedown attempts and kind of turned the tables. Royval was able to take Tatsuro down briefly, and once they were on the ground, Royval started landing the better and more damaging shots, and, you know, Tatsuro just wasn't able to mount much offense in the final round. And, you know, to me, I think that Brandon Royval's striking, as well as his ability to control the exchanges, kind of gave him the edge in the judges' eyes. And, you know, it was close. It was really, really, really close, but Royval kind of did do enough in order to get the win by split decision. And now that this fight is done and over with, and, you know, Tatsuro Taira did take the L, I can just smell the amount of people calling him a fraud and that this was a fraud check or whatever. And come on. This is no fraud check by any means whatsoever. You gotta take into account that this guy is 24 years of age and is already in the flyweight top 5 and has just went tooth and nail with the #1 contender. He's not a fraud. He took his first L in the UFC, and it was a split decision loss after an intense battle with one of the best in the division. And if anything, I think Tatsuro Taira's stock has kind of slingshotted after this fight, because it showed his toughness, it showed his resilience, and it showed that he had heart, and it also, more importantly, showed that he can compete with the best of the best in the world. And I'm even more convinced that he has a super bright future ahead of him, and he's got a lot of time in the UFC, and with his skill set as well as his mentality, I believe that he'll be a future champion one day. No bap. And as for Brandon Royval, he of course called out for another title shot during his post-fight speech, and I mean, like, dude, he kind of deserves it. I mean, let's look at his performances in this year alone. He stepped into short notice to beat Brandon Moreno, which was huge, and now he's just defeated the undefeated, most hyped up prospect in the flyweight division. And I know 2 fights ago, he was coming off of a championship loss against, the current champion Pantoja, but this year has been an incredible year for Royval, and he has kind of positioned himself perfectly for another title shot. And it's kind of worth noting that this win is particularly relevant because the UFC has just announced that Alexandre Pantoja will be defending his title against Kai Asakura in his next bout. And if Pantoja wins this fight, it sets up the trilogy match between him and Brandon Royval, which would be super insane. But if Asakura wins, this opens up a door to a fresh, new, and exciting matchup for Brandon Royval. But either way, Royval is at the top of the division, and that's kind of where he deserves to be, and him calling out for another title shot shouldn't be out of the ordinary. But at the end of the day, this fight was a great test for both fighters, and Brandon Royval showed that he was ready for another title shot, while on the other hand, Tatsuro Taira, while despite this being a loss, it proved that he's got insane heart and some skills and a determination to bat, and he's definitely becoming a future champion one day, I guarantee it. And both of these fighters' stocks have massively slingshotted, and it's kind of going to be interesting to see how this plays for the featherweight division moving forward. But that's all I've got to say for this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys have to say about UFC Vegas 98, Brandon Royval versus Tatsuro Taira? Let me know in the comment section below. But that about wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.